My name is Daniela. I'm a registered nurse and I work in long-term care. I think that long-term care nursing is an amazing place for any registered nurse to start their career. I went into it because I love working with seniors. I love the idea of having therapeutic relationships with patients that over a long period of time, you get to really know them, know their family. It's amazing. I'm a team leader right out the gates, and I love that because I get to really position my career for promotion and development and growth. So before the pandemic, my job was really related to promoting professional practice at the point of care. I would implement best practices from the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario, education with the staff at the point of care, lots of really fun developmental skill building type roles. When COVID came in, basically all my quality improvement work came to a screeching halt. Right away, we had to focus, of course, on safety and education for the team on how to wear PPE, how to be safe, how to engage with residents in a safe way so that we're not spreading the virus around. The ministry was sending in new information to long-term care on the daily, sometimes twice a day. So sometimes we ended up having to educate or re-educate things at the same time in a day. We would keep learning new information, keep changing, and that lasted for quite a few months. Basically, the focus came down to just safety, and all the resources that we use in long-term care to promote best practices and to build up have to be redirected to responding to COVID. So it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to get back into best practices after COVID is over, because all of our resources have more or less been depleted. Working as a nurse in long-term care during a pandemic personally has been quite straining mentally and physically. I've worked long hours, longer than normal. I'm coming home. I have lots of things to do before I can actually engage with my family to make sure I'm not passing anything along to them. And so I'm just very tired by the end of the day. And I have kids, small children, who haven't socialized with anyone during the day because they can't because of COVID. And I'm just emotionally depleted. And I find that that has been really hard on me as a mother and as a person to try and reconcile that feeling of being so tired I could just go to sleep, and I need to give my kids part of me as well. That's been very, very difficult. I've had to cut out some of my extracurricular activities that were still COVID safe because I couldn't uphold the responsibilities of that. And I have had to live without close contacts with my friends who are my support. And so I find that it has been quite stressful, and there were some days that you almost couldn't wake up in the morning, but you did because you knew you had to. And so what I recommend for anyone in this situation is focus on self-care. It's so important in these moments. On those days that you do have off, do what you love to do, and we can get through this. When you're trying to train lots of people and new information keeps coming every day, every hour, right away, especially in the chaos, this information didn't come directly from the government. Knowing what to do, how to stop infection, came from nursing knowledge. As registered nurses, we know the chain of infection. We know how to break that chain of infection. Washing your hands, wearing a mask, washing your clothes, having a shower when you're dealing with infectious diseases. And so that's what I'm really proud of as a nurse, to have at least known that and been able to share that with the people I love and with the patients that I care for right away. Facing COVID was scary. Like, knowing that this was coming and we didn't know what to expect at end of life for people experiencing COVID, put us in a place where we were trying to find information. Wasn't much there. It was very hard. Luckily, where I work with amazing nurses. They were actually able to look ahead to other places in the world that were facing this and get information about what end of life looked like for COVID. And so we put together a little education team, and we actually prepared the people where I work for end of life and COVID, which made a huge difference when COVID did enter our home. But what was really sad to see when people were passing away with COVID was the inability to connect them with their loved ones or to fulfill their end-of-life wishes like we used to before COVID. That was really heartbreaking for many of us, and it was almost an ethical dilemma for some of us in long-term care. We know what this person wants outside of medical needs, what they need as a person. as they approach end of life. And we can't get it to them because we're only allowed one person to visit, or sometimes you weren't even allowed anyone when things were new. How can we have people passing away without their loved ones by their side if that's what they want? And so that was a challenge. We really have to reconsider how long-term care is funded in this province. Nursing care for residents right now is less than 6 minutes to get them up for breakfast. That's unacceptable. There's one RN for 80 residents, potentially 160 residents. That's been a normal day for me before. How is that good care? How is that supporting your seniors who have paid their taxes their entire lives? We need a new funding model that promotes best practice and that basically gives rewards for the better care that is being done. That is what I think long-term care needs. If there's one thing that has come out of COVID that is maybe a silver lining, is community. And I have to say, long-term care is community. I have seen my colleagues step up in amazing ways during this pandemic. When everything got shut down, long-term care lost the support of volunteers. We lost the support of private caregivers, and we lost the support of families even being able to come in and see their loved ones. So you can imagine that the team that is already pre-COVID struggling to maintain the care needs that the residents require now are facing a whole other mountain of challenges. And so I've seen interdisciplinary teams come together and help residents eat in the dining room and get dressed in the morning. Things that are not normally in someone's role, they've stepped up and done it. I've seen people give up half their shift to swab residents, to swab staff members, so that we make sure as a community we're staying safe. Kindness, people bringing in letters, people bringing in food, COVID-safe food, separately packaged, bringing in lots of amazing things just to raise the spirits and the morale of the team so that we have the energy to step up on this challenge every day, every shift, every hour of every shift that has become a new challenge. I see heroes all around me every day. The team that I work with, they have just blown my mind during this pandemic, the way that they've stepped up and provided care and did above and beyond just so that we can get through a regular day. And in my eyes, that is heroism. I see them every day as a hero. But what's hard to hear as a nurse is governments telling us over and over again that we're heroes, but not really backing it up with any action. I mean, long-term care nurses, I know, residents know, people know, are heroes. But then the government funds long-term care how it does. So how are we reconciling that notion of heroism with value of the word heroism? Because we're worth more than, free lunch once in a while. There is value in what we offer, and if that is how the government feels, then there needs to be some action to support that. My message to all the nurses out there working through this pandemic is, one, thank you. Thank you for taking the risk of your life, taking the risk of your family's life, to provide care and to keep society functioning with keeping health up with people as much as we can. I also want to say, keep going, because we're not done yet. We're not through this, but you're already doing an amazing job. I know we're all tired, but we have no choice to keep going. But at the end, it will all be worth it, because we will see the impact that we had during this dark time. The true shining star in this is that nurses stood up, and we did it, and we will do it, and we'll continue to do it going forward. And that is my message to all the nurses.